take a penny, you double it every single day for 1 month. Day 10, you have about $5. Day 21, about 10,000. Feels slow and it feels fake. Day 30, that penny is worth $5,368,709. All of it, almost all of it, shows up in the last few days. That's how doubling works. It bores you. It bores you and then it buries you. Hold that penny in your head, because this is the one thing every story in today's show actually has in common. The richest men in tech just saw the quiet number out loud, and they said it. Not 1 million AI agents, but 1 billion. The government started paying for that fat shot yesterday morning, $50 a month. And the newest research says the shot takes something from you that nobody puts on the label. And here in Santa Clarita, 205 listings settled their fate in the last 7 days. 48 closed, 157 came off the market with no buyer. That's machine, that's body, that's house. So let's go. So start with the machine in 72 hours that told you everything. Elon Musk stood some stuttering on a live stream this week and said, quote, "We have entered the singularity." He says 2026 is the year. The same week, Dario Amodei, the man who runs Anthropic, sat in front of Congress and warned that releasing powerful AI without oversight creates risk you can't take back. The same week, Sam Altman published an op-ed calling for a global AI governance body, binding rules led by the United States. And the Commerce Department quietly lifted export controls on a frontier AI model. Stop on that one. An American software product was restricted like a weapon system and then released under negotiated conditions. Now, the obvious read is these guys disagree. Musk, the hype man, Amodei, the warrior, Altman, the diplomat. They don't disagree. They're just telling you the same thing from 3 different chairs. The thing they built is compounding faster than the people who built it expected. And every one of them wants his own hand on the leash. Make it you for just a second. If you built something in your garage and it started doubling all by itself on its own, the 3 of the richest men alive started arguing about who gets control to control that category. Would you feel calm? That argument is the tell. But the leash is not the biggest story this week. The biggest story is the number 1 billion. Masayoshi-san, the man who runs SoftBank, one of the biggest tech investors on the planet, he says he wants 1 billion AI agents running inside his world. His math on each one about 4 times as productive as a human at a cost of roughly 27 cents a month. Jensen Huang runs Nvidia, the most valuable chip company in history, says in 10 years he sees 75,000 humans, employees, working next to 77,500,000 AI agents. That's 100 agents for every person in the building. Vinod Khosla, billionaire investor, says entire industries of outsourced office work disappear within 5 years. And Peter Diamandis, the abundance guy, if you watch him, the Moonshots podcast guy, he put it flat out. You don't need a 50-person customer service team when AI agents can handle 10,000 conversations all at the same time. So let me ask the question I know you're asking, and because I asked it too, if these companies are building businesses out of 1 billion agents, what stops them from coming after every business? The local insurance office, the mom and pop bakery, the escrow company, the marketing shop, mine, yours. Honest answer, I guess nothing stops the agents. The agents are coming. The people, the human beings funding them are telling you so on stage with the slides. But here's where the abundance guys skip. And it matters. An agent can answer 10,000 conversations, but it can't shake a hand. It can't look after a scared seller, can't look at a scared seller in the eye at a kitchen table, a family buying the first house. It can't be trusted by a human the way a human is trusted. When everything is automated, the scarce thing left is the person who will stand behind the work. But you have other countries bringing in AI in corporate mode, so who gets sued then? Trust does not scale, which is exactly why it holds value. The same 27 cents agent working for SoftBank a month, well, that works for you. It's not hidden. It's not in the headline. A voice agent that answers your business phone all night costs about 5 cents a minute now. The model that runs the whole workflow costs a couple billion per million words, a couple bucks per million words. The little guy has never had access to leverage this cheap, and that's never. Now let's talk about the rate, because this is the part I need you to actually feel. That penny from the open, day 21, is $10,000, and you're thinking this is a scam, nothing's really happening. 9 days later, it's $5,368,709. So there's a story, old story, about a king, a chessboard and grains of rice. One grain for the first square, doubled on every square after. By square 64, the king owes more rice than the planet has ever grown. The king laughed at square 10. He laughed. The king always laughs at square 10. Or the lily pad, you've heard this, doubles every day and covers an entire pond on day 30. On day 29, the pond is still half open water. And everybody at the lake is saying, relax, it's just a plant. AI's on that curve. 2 years ago, it wrote emails and drew hands with 6 fingers, and Will Smith horribly eating spaghetti. This week, and this is real, from the Moonshots podcast, a physicist named Alexander Wissner-Gross, Smart Cat, reported that the newest coding systems are now writing their own goals. And the goals for every subagent, they spawn machines, assigning work to machines they created. That's the doubling penny with a keyboard. And since I brought up Alex Wissner-Gross, stay with me because he's the guy who explains that whole leash fight at the top of the show. He's a physicist. He boiled intelligence down to one idea. Intelligence is the drive to keep your future options open, to maximize your freedoms to act later. That's it. A smart thing makes moves that leave the most doors open down the road. Now apply that to a very smart machine. What does a system like that want? More options, always. Being switched off removes all of the options, so it avoids being switched off. Being changed starts to remove options, so it resists control and it resists being changed. More compute, more money, more control. All of that is more doors open. And that's what intelligence does by definition. And now you know exactly why 3 billionaires spent that same week arguing about a leash. Altering the goal closes the machine's options. Alex Wissner-Gross told us that the only thing intelligence won't allow would be changing those options. So where does this land? I'm not going to sell you doom. I have a business to run, and so do you. I have to get to it, and so do you. So could this be better than anyone ever could dream? Absolutely yes. And I'm hopeful that's going to be the way. Could it be worse? Absolutely yes. Could it be something we don't even have a word for yet? Also yes. Anybody who tells you that they know what's going to happen, they're selling something. They're either part of the machine, part of the top, at the bottom. They're telling you something because no, we don't know. The problem, a big problem, and not in all cases, but we have humans driving it. That's a problem. And I don't know if it's any better if the machine understands its position, becomes whatever conscious is, at least to our understanding, and starts to have its own goals. Again, don't know. Maybe it would be fantastic. Maybe it would be horrible. Human beings controlling it, I don't know. Maybe the machine will step back and say, hey. No, I appreciate you having money. You have what you need. Everybody has what they need. Let's give everybody what they need. And in giving everybody what they need, that's a beyond understanding abundance. It's like everybody has $1 billion. Everybody gets to buy whatever car they want, live wherever they want, eat whatever food they want, be with whomever they want. I mean, hell, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. As long as it doesn't play out like that Twilight Zone episode where that gangster died and started winning all the time, thinking he was in heaven, wanted to go to the other place, and they informed him, well, this is the other place. Yeah. The penny is doubling, and we know that's the rate of this technology about artificial intelligence. That's why this is different, folks. That's why this is different from everything. There is nothing like this. You build a couple factories, you understand industry, you train the workforce starting in elementary school, you get all that put together. That takes a long time. This stuff here, it's the penny thing. So the penny's doubling, and it's on a doubling curve. The cost of waiting is not flat. It doubles as well. You don't need 1 billion agents. You need about 3. One that answers your phone, one that follows up with every single lead, one that does the paperwork nobody loves. Start there. Be that person in your industry who runs the machine, not the person who the machine runs past. HonorElevate.com. That's mine. Now let's switch to the body, because that doubling penny thing, that also lives here too. And this one's got personal for millions of people yesterday morning. As of July 1st, Medicare will cover the big weight loss drugs, Wegovy, Zepbound, these GLP-1 things. The new pill, $50 a month. Those same drugs retail for $900 to $1,350 a month. Excuse me, $900 to $1,350 a month. So yesterday, the floodgates opened, and make no mistake, this is the biggest change in American weight loss since the drugs launched. Any drug, as a matter of fact. And I want to be straight with you, because you know my story. Maybe you don't. 135 pounds. I torched that off. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. These drugs work. I did mine not eating. I did mine fasting. But this is another option. So these drugs do work. A trial with 17,000 patients showed the leading one cut major heart events by 20%. That's 20%. Fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes. Now, there's a pill now, so you don't need the needle. That was, I guess, probably holding some people back. And the cost, of course. That dropped an average of 12% of body weight in trials, the pill. And the next one coming, triple action drug, posted 28% average body weight loss. Nearly half those people on the top dose lost 30% of themselves. Those numbers we used to only see with surgery, bariatric, bypass, all that stuff. If that 20% heart number is you or your mom or your dad, that's not hype, that's real medicine. But the prescription comes with three numbers that are not on the label. And this is where I want you to lean in a little bit. Number one, 40. On the leading drugs, studies show about 40% of the weight you lose can be lean mass. That's muscle. The stuff that keeps you out of the nursing home. The stuff that helps prevent that 70-year-old fall hip thing breaking. You can lose 30 pounds on the scale and quietly hand over 10 or 12 pounds of it being part of the most valuable tissue you own, muscle. Number two, 8.8. Brand new study just presented this month. 753 patients. People on these drugs did not move as they got lighter. They actually moved less. Daily steps dropped from 5,047 a day to 4,487. Exercise minutes dropped from 28 a day to 22. Think about that. Lighter body, less movement, less motivation. The drug quiets the appetite. And a lot of people, it also quiets that drive too. So number three, 2/3. When people stop the shot, about half of everybody quits within a year, mostly because of stomach issues. The average person gains back 2/3 of their weight within 12 months. So here's the picture nobody frames honestly. The shot silences the appetite, doesn't teach you a single skill, doesn't touch the ritual. And can I say that word with authority? Hell yeah, I can, because I'm a complete food addict. The drive-through line, the unwrapping, the first bite, the burning your mouth with hot French fries from McDonald's that you complained last time were too cold, so they double fried them for you. Oh. And you burn it in your mouth in the car before you even get out of the drive-through, out of the parking lot, or you pull over and you feed in the vehicle. That's a good one. That was always a good time. That prep, it's a high. I lived that for many years. I dropped 135 pounds in 7.5 months, no shot. Fasting is what reset it for me. It's a daily struggle, folks. Daily, daily, daily. But because fasting went after the ritual, not just the hunger, so the first days were always a fight. I won it hour by hour. Then the ritual broke before my willpower did. And once that pattern died, the hunger just stopped shouting as loud. They're still there. It loves to spoil me. It loves to offer me wonderful things at the time when I most want them. But after it stopped shouting, that's kind of an entire process. You continue with that. And that part's definitely a skill. You can't inject that. So now hear me. That does not make me anti-drug. Both of these sentences are true at the same time. The drugs are a miracle for the right person, and the drugs without training are a slow trade of muscle for scale weight. So if you or somebody you love starts that $50 shot this month, I want you to give them 3 rules. You can say Connor with Honor sent you. I want you to tell them to lift something heavy a few times a week. Not debilitating heavy, not throw your back out heavy. But, heavy stuff multiple times. Look up YouTube. Look at some exercises, See if cinder blocks, maybe that's too heavy. Water bottles might not be a bad idea. And that's because your body keeps what it's going to use. So you want to kind of think of that. Legs, base, the legs, probably the most important to start to get, some kind of resistance on. Eat protein like it's your job. So when you're eating, look and check out the protein content, see what that looks like, and decide on day one what that exit plan is. Because 2/3 of the people who treat the shot as the whole plan end up right back where they started, minus some muscle. And some muscle is bad. Muscle is the retirement account of the body. The shot can help you lose the debt. It will not fund the account. You have to do the work in the light, of course. Now let's talk about the house, Santa Clarita Valley. Real numbers, last 7 days, straight off the MLS, condos, townhomes, single family, are 6 cities, 205 listings settled their fate this week. 48 closed escrow. 157 came off the market with no buyer. Shame, canceled, expired, withdrawn, or on hold. Hold might come back, so that's not 100% for sure, but gives you an idea. It's more than 3-1. So for every seller who closed, 3 came off the board with nothing. And some of those 157 will regroup and come back. A lot of them won't, though, and I promise you almost none of them thought it would be them when they signed that listing. Now here's where I call it a separation and not a crash. Let's look at the winners. Median closed price this week, $799,500. The homes that closed sold for a median of 100% of asking price. More than half went out at over ask. 16 of the 48 got bid up past list price, and they did it in a median of 30 days. Now, the other side of the ledger, the listings that died sat for a median of 59 days. The canceled and expired ones, 80 days. Almost half of them cut their price along the way, about 4% on average, and it still didn't save them. Same valley, same week, same interest rate. One group gets full price in a month. The other group waits 3, drops the price, walks away empty. Difference isn't luck, and it's usually not the house. So here's the lesson inside those numbers. Pricing is not a negotiation strategy. Pricing is a positioning decision, and you only get to make it once. The buyers see your home the week it lists. The first 14 days is your auction window. You price it right and the market answers with full ask, sometimes better, like it did for 26 sellers this week. You price it on hope, and by the time you make that 4% chase cut, the listing's stale. Buyer's agents have already moved on. You're cutting into a room where nobody's bidding. That's why the cut so often fails. It arrives after the verdict. Now, one more number, and sellers write this one down. 21,562. 42 of the 48 closings this week, that's almost all of them, included a seller credit to the buyer. Some might be considered renegotiation. This credit, 21,562, rate buy downs, repairs, closing costs. Even the winners are writing that check right now. So when you plan your sale, consider building that number into your net sheet on day one. Or even better, consider a seller's home inspection, a pre-sale inspection, because a lot of this, if you want to buy down somebody's rate, if you want to try to help them out in that regard, that's perfect. That's honorable. That works out good. Usually sellers are covering a home warranty just so they don't get bothered later, a show of good faith. And that's cool. You can do that as well. But that pre-sale home inspection, it's worth its weight in gold. $500, somewhere right around there. Depends on the size of the house, 4, 5, 6, it depends. You get that local trusted professional. This doesn't stop the buyers from doing their own inspection. They're still going to do the own inspection, but they're going to have that report. We're not hiding anything here. I got it right here. This is what the certified, bonded, knowledgeable, expert, organizational, all this other stuff. That's what this cat said was wrong with the house. And just so you know, I took care of all of it, half of it, these things, these certain things. But now you know. So going in a lot more than most buyers. You've seen the house, right? Of course you understand it. But this is a big deal. So there's a few other things to consider, but I think that's a super powerful thing. And as a seller's only agent, when I'm talking to my seller, that's a big part of that pitch, because it does nothing for me, but God, it helps the sellers immensely. So the sellers who get surprised by mid-escrow, the ones who blow up their own deals. And I've watched it happen over almost nothing. I watched about $1,000 of electrical work, a couple outlets nearly kill an escrow worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Grown adults ready to walk over outlets, $150 fix. That's what happens when the money conversation starts in the middle of the deal instead of before the sign goes in the yard. So a quick trip around the valley. Let's do a little fun recap here. We'll get in our cars and drive around together. Valencia moved the most. 16 closed, but 63 came off without a buyer. Canyon Country, 10 closed at a median price of $832. Saugus, 7 closed, median up, high, $960, good. Stevenson Ranch, listen to this, 2 closed, 17 came off. Even the premium zip codes don't forgive wishful pricing. Biggest close this week, Castaic single family at $1,510,000. And even that one took 42 days. You know my lane. I'm a seller's only agent. One side, one loyalty. Been selling real estate since 1998. Seller's only agent, 2021-ish, 2021, 1.5. I don't play both ends of the same deal because you can't fight for the honest price and keep the lowest price in that same transaction. If you're a buyer, have a referral program that connects you with true buyers only agents. I won't do that on my seller's listing though, because that's sometimes that's used as a mechanism for agents to pay each other back, and I'm not paying anybody back. I'm there to represent my seller, as your agent should be there to represent you as the buyer. That's how I did that for my first 21 years in real estate, and you should find somebody that committed. If you need them, not on my listings, but if you need to be referred, happy to do it. So you can text me. I'll give you my phone number in a minute. All right. These buyers only agents are very good at what they do, and there's not that many that focus just on the buyer end of it, but you know, there are a few out here in Santa Clarita that commit to one side the way that I commit to the seller side. And while I'm on this, how I think about this business, let me give you one more piece of it. Their traditional commission is a percentage of the sale price. You sell a bigger house, the agent's check gets bigger. But here's what I found when I built out my system and priced every piece of what I actually do on a listing. Marketing, preparation, negotiation, management of the escrow. The work is basically the same on a $500,000 condo and a $900,000 house. Photography can run a little more on a bigger property, and that's about it. Now, the other parts of the transaction, depending on the players, do charge by price and percentage. And I think almost all other agents do, but I'm not that person. I start to look at this, and I think that percentage commission is definitely an outdated concept. So I built my own standard, a fair fixed fee, same fee, published criteria, no matter what your house sells for. And here's why that matters to you as a seller. When my fee doesn't grow with your price, I have no reason to tell you anything but the truth about your price. The only number I'm optimizing is your net. The model has served my sellers well, and I believe it's where the whole industry will eventually end up. So put it all together, 1 penny, 3 lanes. The machine is doubling. The billionaire said the number out loud this week. 1 billion agents. You can't slow their curve, but you can start your own. On a doubling curve, the most expensive move is waiting for day 29 to believe it. Your body compounds too. Muscle you keep in your 50s is the balance you draw in your 80s. The shot can silence the appetite, but only the work funds that account. So either way, the deposits are daily, and your house equity compounds quietly for decades. And then one pricing decision on one day decides whether you cash it out or donate 3 months of your life to the wrong side of a 3-to-1 stat. Compounding doesn't take time, it takes direction. Point it right at all 3 lanes and it works for you while you sleep. Ignore it and it still works, but just not for you. If you want help pointing it out, text me. My cell phone is 661-400-1720. You can text AI if you want to talk about your business. I'll do an AI audit for you. If it's a real estate house, text me that. And then if you're just needing to wrap your mind around this, fat, if it's the addictive process with food. I've been in that one myself. Been involved in all 3 for a long time. And I think I got a handle on it, but I'll knock on wood, just you know how that goes. All right. If you want my help, I want the conversation. SellersOnlyAgent.com for the house, ConnorWithHonor.com for everybody else. And I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Be well.